Hey, how's it going? We'll see how this goes. A lot of people streaming a lot of things here at the Jackson household, so we'll see if our bandwidth works out here. Now, are we live here? What's going on here? Let me know if you can hear me okay, and if audio is synced up with the mic. I know we had some problems with that the other day, but hoping to talk a little bit about Main Street and how local retailers can compete, how they can recover. I think one of the things that this whole coronavirus thing has exposed is how big companies like Amazon in particular really benefit from situations like this. They are much less fragile, and in fact, they're built for situations like this. And so what can your local Main Street shops in Spain, hey Miguel, in Canada, in the US, Germany, wherever you're at, how can your local shops compete with someone as big as Amazon? And to illustrate the problem, I'm going to start with this here. So I'll start with this right here. So this is Brian Ray in Slack. He says, was listening to your podcast. I think you'd enjoy the book Deep Economy by Bill McKibben. Now, what am I going to do? Right? As soon as I hear him recommend that, I'm going to go to Amazon and I'm going to type in Deep Economy. And I could have this delivered by Sunday in 2 days for $15.60 free delivery. How does a local seller compete with that? Hey, David, thanks for being here. This is it. Another example. I got this email from Curtis, and he's talking about how are all of us going to homeschool our kids. And, he's talking about his thing, and then he's like, this book here was really helpful. Well, this opens up right to Amazon. I can get it in paperback for $11.99 and free delivery probably. Got to switch it to .ca for Canada. But, this has very low friction. I can buy this now and have it delivered by Sunday. And in many ways, this is not fair. In many ways, it's not fair that Amazon has all this power, that they are losing money on all their deliveries, and the effect of that is going to be driving these local retailers out of business. But we can complain about it, or we can try to figure out a better system for doing all this. And I've got a few ideas. So, by the way, if you're in the comments right now, if you could just wave or say hello or hit that heart icon or that thumbs up icon, that'd be appreciated. Just trying to figure out how many people are here right now. I can't always tell. So, nice. Thanks, JD. Yeah, you can jump in on the comments, and if you say something worth sharing on screen here, I'll do that as well. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? And I've already told you the problem. As soon as we have an idea to buy something, especially now when we're stuck at home, we instantly think of Amazon. And what would it take for me to think about Bookland, which is the bookstore here in Vernon. So we're going to go there in a sec. Hey, Matt. Hey, Sam Podlagar. Thanks for being here. Sam, I'm sorry, this Twitch audio sync thing, It works other places, but not on Twitch. I don't know why. So what would it take for me to think of Bookland? Well, here's Bookland. And look at this. This is kind of sad. They're closing down. So already there's a problem. But I want to underscore how much friction there is to go from this to this. I already have a pathway in my head that says if I want a book, I go to Amazon, not Bookland. And those pathways that are in our heads, those habits that we develop, those things that we do automatically that are convenient and that we don't need to think about, this is how the markets and consumerism works, right? Amazon has done a really good job of putting it in our heads that if we want a book, the first thing we think about, there's the trigger of, hey, you should get this book. And then the first thing I think of doing is going to Amazon. Bookland, how are they going to compete? Well, we're going to get into that in a bit, but let's just see if I can even find this book on Bookland, maybe. So Deep Economy. So they can do a special order 7 days to obtain. And the price is $23.50 compared to $15.60. So, and I like this idea David's got in here. I'll put that in there in a bit. Hey, Bruno, how's it going? Hey, Mike, thanks for showing up. And David's got this here. We're going to get to this in a sec. But this is what Bookland's up against, right? You've got the first of all, the first problem is I'm not even thinking about them in the first place because I'm thinking about Amazon. Regular customers, what are they thinking of? They're thinking of Amazon. So in order to compete with Amazon, we've got to make local shops top of mind. And I actually think the answer is not going to be for them to think of local shops, but for us to be able to search a network of local shops. I'll get to that in a second. So that's the first challenge. But the second challenge is going to be distribution, price, convenience, delivery, and, David Hannemeyer Hansen has been talking on Twitter. I don't know if I can find this. This is probably not good to do live, but DHH order book. He's been talking about how he's been trying to order from not ordering from Amazon, and it takes longer. I don't know where it is, but it takes longer, but he's doing it because he feels like it's the right thing to do. But most of us are not like David Hannemeyer Hansen. Most of us, when we have someone suggest a book, the first thing we do is go on Amazon. And when we get there, it is cheap, it is efficient, it is convenient, it has all of these advantages. But personally, like I've said before, I don't want to see a world where Amazon wins everything, where the only way to get a book is to order through Amazon. And Amazon just puts all of my local shops downtown out of business. I don't want to live in a world like that. So is there a better system? Is there a better system that we can employ? And Jack McDade is already kind of seeing where I'm going here. Web rings. Kind of like web rings, Jack. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Let's keep going on this presentation I had planned here, and we'll get to it. Okay, so here's Amazon's advantage number one: inventory and selection. This is one of their distribution centers, and this is why they have this advantage. Like Sam says, convenience is huge. People would rather wait a day than go through the hassle of going to the local shop. Jessica's been thinking about this a lot too. So Amazon has this huge inventory and selection, right? They have these distribution centers all around the world, these fulfillment centers all around the world. and they've got a whole underlying infrastructure that's working underneath there. So how can local retailers compete with this? They just built this big distribution center in Ottawa, I believe. Look how big that thing is. That's inside of that is this huge, just tons and tons of storage of stuff, right? Advantage, so that was advantage number 2. Advantage number 3 is search. 54% of product searches now take place on Amazon, and that's probably even higher now. People used to search for products on Google. Now, increasingly, Amazon is the first place they go. So how can local retailers compete with that, right? And I've kind of written it out here, but I'm going to get into it. Really, to compete with Amazon, small retailers need to be able to compete with them on brand being top of mind, on consumer behavior, changing existing habits, on search, helping consumers find what they're looking for quickly, selection, having what people want when they want it, distribution, getting goods to consumers quickly, and price, which is the cost of the product and shipping. And right now, as we know, Amazon is subsidizing the shipping. They're losing money on the shipping. For Amazon to just ship me this book and get it to me by Sunday for free, they're losing money on a lot of these shipments. So here are some ideas, and I would love to hear more of your ideas as well. How to compete on inventory, selection, and search. So the problem right now is most independent shops don't have an online store. But now what we've seen in the coronavirus epidemic is they're all running out, and they're trying to quickly set up their own online store. They're going to Shopify and Square and Woocommerce. And so each of them are setting up their online store. But the challenge here is who's going to look up Bookland first? Why would you go to Bookland when you can go to Amazon and it's faster? And you know that they're going to have what you want for the cheapest price and get it to you the fastest. Having your own silo doesn't... If you set up your own little independent web store as a local shop, you basically get none of the advantages of being online, right? Because people aren't going to look for you. The biggest search engine for products is already Amazon. 54% of people think to go there first. So how is you setting up your own little independent shop? How are you going to get in people's minds that if they want what you have to sell, do you understand what I'm saying? There's a disconnect. It's not even like they don't even know about you. They're not even thinking to go on your store, much less when they get there, they might be disappointed because you don't have what they want when they want it. And the key, and Jessica's already in on this, the key is a network. What local retailers could do is they could network all of this together, right? Oops. They could network all of this together. And this is where we're going to start to get the power of network effects. Where if my shop is linked to your shop, now if you search for something on my shop and I don't have it, I can suggest what's at your shop. I've got a little demo of this. Let me play that for you quick. Let's see if this works. Here we go. If I go to order a screwdriver from my local hardware store and they don't have it, Square automatically recommends another store in my area that does have it, right, and offers free delivery to that place. You can see how those kinds of network effects would actually make small business stronger. So Are you getting a picture here of how that might work? Instead of everybody having their own independent silo, where if I do end up on your store for some reason and I search for the snowboard I really want, instead of it just searching, at Ridge, which is my local shop. Let's go to at Ridge, Vernon. Instead of just searching at Ridge, if at Ridge doesn't have it, then let's just say I want the Burton Hometown Hero. Let's see if they, Burton Hometown Hero. If at Ridge doesn't have it, they could automatically recommend another store that does have it. And maybe if that store is only an hour away, these stores are networked together for delivery as well. And we're going to get into that in a second. So yes, a network that is searchable by city and product. That is going to be key. Hopefully that video played okay for you. Let me know in the comments if it did. Yes, an umbrella brand that everyone goes to first. Absolutely. You're thinking exactly the same as me. One thought I had on this is, maybe the network, here, I got to go on camera here for this. So maybe for this idea, how do I do this? This idea here, AIR, the Association of Independent Retailers. So instead of each individual store having to create this brand awareness and convince customers to go to their store to search, what if you went to air.com, the Association of Independent Retailers, and it's AIR that has to build the brand awareness and help consumers develop those habits, and then you go and search on AIR for that snowboard, or on AIR for that, this website for that book or for that tool or whatever. And it automatically searches this network of stores, and a store in your neighborhood might have it already, right? So that's, you're thinking exactly the same way I am, Jessica. So let's keep going here. Distribution and delivery. This is another place Amazon has a huge advantage. How can independent retailers compete? Well, right now they're depending on, DoorDash and Grubhub and all these third-party delivery companies, and maybe that is the answer. But maybe the real answer is for local shops, these networks of shops, to form their own distribution, to own their own distribution, and to use vehicles similar to what they're using in China right now to create a local network of distribution, where if someone orders a product, if someone orders a product on your store, you can immediately deliver it to them locally with these little delivery vehicles. And maybe this is something you have in-house in your shop. Like as soon as the order comes in, you can deliver it. Maybe there is just a delivery co-op where, a bunch of retailers form a network and get a bunch of these vehicles and hire a driver, and that driver's just zipping around town all day. Imagine a world where getting a delivery locally is faster than ordering on Amazon. And this builds up resilience for these local retailers. What hit them hard with coronavirus is they didn't have any of the infrastructure in place, right? What do they say? Fortune favors the prepared. So next time something like this happens, we need to be prepared. And the way to be prepared is to create our own local delivery networks. I've got a video for this too. There's a company or a co-op in Vancouver that's doing this called Shift Delivery. Let me play this.
Shift is regular deliveries in downtown Vancouver. Our fuel-free vehicles have a unique edge on van deliveries, with lightning-fast parking, access to bike lanes, and exclusive front door loading. Our incredible mobility and surprising capacity connect your products to customers with greater ease and efficiency. Our drivers are also owners, guaranteeing superior service to your customers. These advantages take the pain out of deliveries and let you focus on your core business. We also provide an exceptional platform to engage the public through advertising, product sampling, and other promotional activities. Please get in touch to explore how Shift Delivery can benefit your business.
So, I mean, that's just an idea from, again, that's just another delivery company, but there's no reason that, like right now, Amazon is investing and DoorDash and everybody are investing in robots and drones and these light delivery vehicles. And then there's these third-party delivery companies. Why can't independent shops either own their own distribution or have access to really efficient local distribution? And again, like I said, if I'm looking for this Hometown Hero snowboard and Atridge doesn't have it, they can, what if they popped up here? I'll just do this live. This is going to be not quite, something like, we don't have it, but our friends at one board shop in Kelowna have it. And then Atridge refers the sale to one board shop. So Atridge gets a commission for referring the sale. And one board shop is like 45 minutes away from me. They enable these really green, high efficiency, fast delivery things to get the product to me, maybe next day or something like that. They could just be having a car go from Kelowna to Vancouver, Vernon, and vice versa every day, right? So I think to compete, you're going to have to be able to compete on distribution. That's kind of my original thoughts. I didn't get a chance to mock up everything, like as Jessica suggested, an umbrella brand where everyone goes first is something I've thought about, and I didn't have time to kind of design it or anything, any mock-ups there. But anyone else have other ideas that they want to share before I end this live stream? Let's see here. David also says maybe building the shared inventory stock is the challenge. Yes. So I think obviously with any kind of big picture idea, there's going to be a reality that's not as great as the idea. And, but I do think a good first step is for at the very least, for independent shops to be networking the inventories they do have, right? So maybe you can't compete with this and this. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing. Maybe you can't compete with this right away and this. But maybe to start by networking the inventories that local shops have already, you'll at least be able to compete at some level, and then you just keep building it up. And then maybe local shops, here, how do I edit this? Let's exit. Maybe local shops, let me duplicate this. Where is it? Duplicate. Maybe local shops, they're not only networking in this way, but they're also, they're also sharing warehouse space, right? So they've got a warehouse. They've got a common warehouse that they're all sharing as well. Is this going to work? Again, don't ever do anything like this live. You're just asking for trouble, Justin. But maybe all of these shops can also have a common local warehouse where if they don't have the room inside their shop, they can they can have a common space that they all share the costs of. This is the whole thing, is that right now retailers have the worst of all worlds because they're paying for their own location, they're paying for their own stock, they're paying for their own marketing, their own website, their own e-commerce, their own delivery. They have to do it all themselves. It usually falls on a single owner who just is reeling from all of this. But together, meaningful networks of independent retailers could create these co-ops that allow them to compete with folks like Amazon. So I think there's potential here, but the only way that we're going to be able to compete with Amazon is if we work together, combine the resources. Spline says, beautiful suggestion about connecting shops to compete with giants. Thank you. I'd like to see messaging with the business owners and sales clerks who have in-depth product knowledge. It would put this method of online shopping into high service, further setting it apart. Oh yeah, so that's another good point. Good idea, Jessica. For there to be, like on my software company, we have, if you go to transistor.fm, we have a little widget that pops up after a while. Let's see where it is. There it is. So a little chat widget where you can ask us a question whenever you need to. I think that's what Jessica's talking about. Having some sort of online messaging platform that everyone contributes to. 2 separate organizations, networked shopping inventory and networked delivery system. Yes. Although maybe they don't need to be separate. Let's see. Eula Box Online Supermarket does agreements with local ones so they can provide fresh food. I like that. I'm going to look into that. UIA Box. Is that what that is? Or is that Eula Box? So this is a store that does agreements with local stores. So that's cool. That's a little bit of the idea. Yes, with the right APIs, you're right. Like with the right API, that's the thing. That's why we're going to need some cooperation probably, or at least a common backbone to all of this, where Square and Shopify and Woocommerce sites can all list their inventories. So we're going to need there's going to need to be some sort of way of integrating all of these different platforms. All of these different platforms that are currently competitors, where there's a common network that everyone shares, a common network backbone. Retail co-ops are very much a thing. That's how Main Street stores competed with Sears. That's how Main Street stores compete with shopping malls. That's how niche verticals establish buying power. Yeah, True Value hardware stores, and then there's the IGA grocery stores. Kevin Wallace is saying, it is hard. It is not it. LOL. Not sure what you were referring to there. By the way, I can completely understand folks being cynical about this. I'm not, by the way, saying this is a new idea. I understand the idea of co-ops. But one thing that's been clear as I've been helping my friends who have local shops on Main Street right now is how disconnected they are. And so, yes, co-ops have been around forever, but we need either the next iteration of co-ops or, there needs to be another level here. Oh, thanks, Sublime Coder. Glad that was helpful. And a few other... Kevin was LOLing at my typo, not the idea. Okay, good. yes, a lot of point of sale platforms are closed. And part of the reason I'm putting this out there is because I think Square and Shopify and WooCommerce actually have a fiduciary duty to provide this kind of service, or at least this kind of API access for their customers. And by the way, this doesn't necessarily have to start big and national. It could start local. It could just be the Association of Okanagan Retailers who band together and say, you know what, we're all going to be on Square, and Justin's going to figure out the Square API and network all of our inventories together, and we're going to buy a Nissan Leaf that's just going to drive around town and do deliveries all day. And they will probably make mistakes. It won't be easy at the beginning, but at least they'll be trying something to create a competitive advantage or to compete head to head with Amazon. And so there's a chance here, and I think it's worth exploring, even though, of course, this is a crazy big idea that has all sorts of logistical problems beyond what I've said. And so, I think starting small makes a lot of sense. Thanks, folks. Hope this was helpful. I'm going to end this so this video has a nice start and end point. Again, if you have other ideas on this and you want to share them with me, you can just reach out to me at MIJustin on Twitter, justin@megamaker.co. And happy to keep this conversation going. So, and look, already people are starting to, Sam and his dad are working on a platform for this, which I think is super cool. Let me know what that is, Sam, and I'll share it with people. I guess I got to go through some of these now. I can't just leave. You just need to go into it with open eyes of the hurdles that predecessors to the model encountered. Start somewhere small and local. Urban areas more ideal. Yeah, I agree. And by the way, I do come to this with some experience. I in the early 2000s, I ran a couple snowboard shops, and we tried to do a version of this called The Collective, which was networking local shops together. What's changed now is technology, right? E-commerce platforms back then were really terrible, but now they've gotten better. APIs have gotten better and more accessible. We have all of this efficient green transportation options, drones, delivery robots, electric cars, electric bikes. And I think now also the will is there, in the sense that we've seen millions of people in North America lose their jobs, and we're seeing the impact that Main Street has on the economy. So I think there's a chance now. I think this is the time. Damon, thank you. We need to know what the hurdles that they face. I totally agree. Thank you. Absolutely, Jessica. And thanks everyone for showing up. Love you all. Take care. And I will see you next time I go live. Share this with your friends. The YouTube video is going to be online. youtube.com/Justin Jackson. Thanks everybody. Bye.